What's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to explore 10 of the most mysterious places you literally won't believe are real. I'm talking about places that look like they're straight out of a sci-fi movie, places that defy the laws of physics, and places that have baffled scientists for centuries. There is a certain enjoyment in being completely confused. These places are really weird, and they're definitely worth seeing for yourself. We're going to dive deep into each one, and I promise you by the end of this video, your mind will be completely blown. This is just one of the many insane adventures we go on here, so if you love exploring the world's craziest spots, you're in the right place. We post videos like this all the time, showing you things you've never seen before. To make sure you don't miss a single second of the action, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. And don't just subscribe. Press the little bell icon and turn on all notifications. That way, you'll be the first to know when we drop our next epic video. You seriously don't want to miss what's coming next. Alright, are you ready? Because we're about to travel from the highest tabletop mountains that inspired blockbuster movies to a giant, fiery pit in the middle of a desert that has been burning for 50 years. I've spent weeks researching these places, and I still can't wrap my head around some of them. We've got moving mountains, floating islands, and a waterfall that literally bleeds. So buckle up because this is going to be one of the wildest virtual tours you've ever been on. Let's get into it. Kicking things off at number 10, we have Mount Roraima. This isn't just a mountain, it's a completely different world perched on top of a giant flat-top plateau that's over 2 billion years old. Imagine a massive table, miles wide, floating above the clouds, surrounded by sheer 1,300-foot cliffs on all sides. It's so isolated that for centuries, people thought it was completely unreachable. The local Payman people called it the House of the Gods, and honestly, when you see it, you totally get why. It's an ancient, prehistoric landscape that time literally forgot. This place is so surreal that it inspired Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's famous novel, The Lost World, which was all about dinosaurs and prehistoric creatures surviving on an isolated plateau. And more recently, the stunning visuals of Mount Roraima were the direct inspiration for the Paradise Falls location in the Pixar movie Up. You can see the resemblance instantly. The constant rainfall creates hundreds of waterfalls that cascade down its sides, making it look like the world is crying. It's a place that blurs the line between reality and fiction, and it's just getting us started on this list. What makes Roraima truly bizarre is its unique ecosystem. Because it's been isolated for millions of years, about a third of the plant and animal life found on top of the plateau exists nowhere else on Earth. We're talking about carnivorous pitcher plants that trap insects, tiny black frogs that can't hop or swim, and bizarre alien-looking flora. It's like evolution had its own separate laboratory up here. Scientists are still discovering new species on Roraima, which is insane to think about in the 21st century. It's a living museum of natural history. Getting to the top is an epic challenge in itself. It's a multi-day trek through dense jungle, across rivers, and up steep, rocky paths. But for those who make it, the reward is an experience that is truly out of this world. You're walking on an ancient landscape, surrounded by twisted rock formations, crystal valleys, and a sky that feels closer than anywhere else on the planet. You're not just climbing a mountain, you're stepping back in time, into a world that shouldn't exist. It's a testament to how many wonders our planet still holds. So, when you look at Mount Roraima, you're seeing more than just a big rock. You're seeing a biological and geological marvel. It's a floating island in the sky that has guarded its secrets for millennia. The sheer scale and otherworldliness of it are hard to comprehend, even when you're standing right there. It perfectly sets the stage for the other mind-bending locations we're about to explore, each one stranger and more mysterious than the last. This is just the beginning of our journey into the unbelievable. Next up, at number 9, we have something that blurs the line between myth, history, and science, Rama's Bridge, or Ram Setu. This is a chain of limestone shoals, a natural causeway that stretches for 30 miles between the southeastern coast of India and the northwestern coast of Sri Lanka. What's so mysterious about it? For thousands of years, ancient Hindu texts have described it as a bridge built by the god Rama and his army of Vanara, or monkey men, to rescue his wife Sita. It's a foundational story for over 1 billion people. The real mystery begins when you look at it from above. Satellite imagery from NASA clearly shows this faint submerged land bridge connecting the two countries. For centuries, historical records and maps have shown this structure, and it was reportedly walkable until a cyclone deepened the channel in the 15th century. So, the question that has baffled everyone is this a man-made structure from thousands of years ago, or is it a completely natural formation? Scientists and historians are still fiercely debating it, making it one of the most contested pieces of archaeology in the world. One of the most mind-blowing parts of the legend are the floating stones. The story says that the monkey army wrote Rama's name on stones, which made them float on water so they could build the bridge. In the nearby town of Rameswaram, you can actually find stones that look like ordinary pumice stones but are said to be samples from the bridge, and guess what? They float in water. Scientists explain this is due to the porous nature of volcanic pumice, but for believers, it's proof of the ancient legend. It's a perfect example of science and mythology crashing into each other. Imagine a piece of history, or mythology, so massive you can see it from space. That's what Rama's bridge is. The debate is intense. Geologists argue it's a natural formation of sand and coral that accumulated over time. Archaeologists and religious scholars point to the unnatural alignment and evidence of human intervention. The Indian government has even tried to dredge a shipping channel through it, which sparked massive protests from people wanting to preserve what they believe is a sacred, man-made wonder. Its history you can literally see. So we have this incredible structure that's visible from aerial views, steeped in one of the world's oldest stories, and features supposedly magical floating stones. Whether you believe it was built by a god or formed by nature, you can't deny that Rama's bridge is an epic mystery. It makes you question how much of our ancient stories might actually be rooted in some kind of historical truth. It's a walkable piece of history, or at least it used to be, and it's a powerful symbol of faith and mystery that connects two nations. Alright, for our number 8 spot, we're heading to Tanzania to see something that seems impossible, a moving mountain. No, I'm not kidding. It's called Old Doinyo Lengai, which means Mountain of God in the Maasai language, but the real star of the show is the shifting sands. This isn't the mountain itself, but a massive crescent-shaped sand dune made of volcanic ash from a nearby volcano. What makes it so bizarre? This entire dune moves across the desert floor on its own. Every single year it travels about 55 feet. This isn't just a pile of sand being blown around by the wind. It's a single, cohesive unit that maintains its sharp crescent shape as it slowly creeps across the vast plains. The dune is about 30 feet high and 300 feet long, and it's composed of fine, black volcanic ash. When the wind blows, instead of scattering the sand everywhere, it causes the dune to roll over itself, almost like a tank tread. This process allows it to move in a single direction, year after year, like it's on a mission. The origin of this sand is just as weird as its movement. The ash comes from the nearby Oldoinyo Lengai volcano, which is the only active volcano in the world that erupts nitrocarbonatite lava. This type of lava erupts at much lower temperatures than normal lava, and is black, but it weathers to a white-gray color incredibly quickly. This unique ash is highly magnetic, which some people believe contributes to its cohesive movement, though scientists mainly attribute it to the consistent wind patterns in the region. It's a geological freak of nature. For the local Maasai people, the moving mountain is a sacred site. They hold ceremonies here, and it's considered a place of pilgrimage. Imagine having a holy site that isn't in a fixed location, but one you have to track across the landscape. Scientists have been tracking its movement for decades, placing markers to measure its progress. It's like a slow-motion migration of a geological creature, a living, breathing part of the landscape that refuses to stay still. It's one of the most unique and dynamic geological phenomena on the entire planet. So what we have is a giant black magnetic sand dune, born from a one-of-a-kind volcano, that is slowly but surely marching across the African savanna. It's a reminder that our planet is full of active, changing processes that are just happening right under our noses. It's not a static rock, it's a dynamic, moving entity. The shifting sands of Tanzania are a testament to the strange and wonderful forces that shape our world, and it's a place that truly defies easy explanation. Coming in at number 7, we're going to a place where cars seemingly roll uphill on their own. Welcome to Magnetic Hill in Ladakh, India. This is a stretch of road high up in the Himalayas that has become famous for an incredible optical illusion. If you park your car at a specific marked spot on the road and put it in neutral, it will look and feel like your car is slowly rolling uphill, defying the laws of gravity. It's a bizarre experience that has attracted tourists and curious minds from all over the world. The experience is genuinely convincing. You're sitting in your car, foot off the brake, and you start moving, seemingly against the pull of gravity. The speed can even reach up to 12 miles per hour. For years, local legends and theories have tried to explain this phenomenon. Some say the hill has a powerful magnetic force that pulls vehicles towards it, hence the name Magnetic Hill. Others have more supernatural explanations, believing it's a stairway to heaven where the worthy are drawn upwards. But what's really going on? The secret lies in a mind-bending optical illusion. The layout of the surrounding landscape completely messes with your perception of what's level. The horizon is obstructed, and the mountains and slopes around the road create a false perspective. The road that appears to be going uphill is actually a gentle downhill slope. Your brain is tricked by the lack of a true level horizon to judge the gradient, so it interprets the downhill slope as an uphill one. It's a gravity hill, and they exist in a few places around the world, but this one is among the most famous. Even when you know it's an illusion, it's almost impossible to see it. Your brain just refuses to accept the reality. People get out of their cars and pour water on the road, only to watch it flow uphill. It's a powerful demonstration of how easily our senses can be deceived by the environment. The surrounding landscape, with its barren dramatic slopes, enhances the effect, making you feel like you're in a truly otherworldly place, where the normal rules don't apply. It's a fun, interactive mystery. So, while there isn't a giant magnet under the road pulling your car, the reality is almost cooler. It's a place that lets you experience a powerful flaw in human perception firsthand. Magnetic Hill is a natural magic trick, a puzzle for your brain set against the stunning backdrop of the Himalayas. It proves that sometimes the greatest mysteries aren't supernatural, but are hidden within the complexities of our own minds and how we see the world. It's a must-see for anyone who loves a good brain teaser. For our number 6 spot, we're visiting a place that looks like a scene straight out of a biblical story. In Kerala, India, there's a phenomenon where the sea appears to split in two. This happens at a place called Ponnani Beach, where a long, narrow sandbar emerges from the water, creating a walkway with the sea on one side and a river on the other. It's a temporary, natural land bridge that allows people to walk right through the middle of the water, and it's an absolutely stunning sight. This incredible event typically happens after the monsoon season. The Biyam Kayal River, swollen with rainwater, flows towards the Arabian Sea. The force of the river pushing out and the sea pushing in creates a unique dynamic. Sediments and sand get deposited in a long, straight line, forming this temporary sand strip that can stretch for over half a mile. On one side, you have the calm backwaters of the river, and on the other, the crashing waves of the Arabian Sea. You are literally walking between two different bodies of water. The sea splitting has become a massive tourist attraction, drawing thousands of people who want to witness the spectacle and take the incredible walk. From an aerial view, it looks like someone has drawn a perfect line separating the water. People flock to the sandbar, walking down its length, with water lapping at both sides. It's a surreal feeling, being surrounded by water but walking on solid ground. It's a temporary marvel, as eventually the sea will reclaim the sandbar until the next monsoon season recreates it. This phenomenon is known locally as Poji, and while it happens in a few places along the coast, the one at Ponnani is particularly dramatic and well-defined. It's a beautiful example of the power of nature and the constant dance between land and sea. It's not a permanent feature on any map, but a fleeting piece of art created by the currents and the seasons. For the people who live there, it's a familiar sign of the changing seasons, but for visitors, it's a magical, almost miraculous event. So while it's not a permanent parting of the seas, the effect is just as awe-inspiring. It's a place where you can witness geology in action, where a river and an ocean meet to create a temporary path. It's a reminder that the world is constantly being reshaped in beautiful and unexpected ways. Walking on that strip of sand, with the river on your left and the sea on your right, is an experience that makes you feel both small and incredibly connected to the natural world. Get ready for number 5, because we're going to the coldest, driest, and most remote continent on Earth, Antarctica, to see something straight out of a horror movie, Blood Falls. This is a 5-story tall waterfall that pours out of the Taylor Glacier, and it's not water that's flowing out. It's a creepy, blood-red liquid. For over a century, since it was first discovered in 1911, scientists were completely stumped. Why was this glacier bleeding? The sight is genuinely unsettling. Against the pristine, stark white of the glacier, this deep red stain flows down and freezes on the ice below, creating a gruesome-looking spectacle. Early explorers thought the red color was caused by some kind of red algae, which seemed like a plausible explanation. But when they took samples, they couldn't find any algae that could explain the intense color. the mystery of bloodfalls only deepened, and it remained one of Antarctica's most famous puzzles for decades. It wasn't until recently that scientists finally cracked the case, and the answer is even cooler than algae. It turns out that underneath the Taylor Glacier, there's a subglacial lake that has been trapped for at least 1.5 million years. This ancient lake is completely cut off from the atmosphere and sunlight. The water is incredibly salty, 3 times saltier than seawater, so it doesn't freeze, even at Antarctic temperatures. And most importantly, this trapped water is extremely rich in iron. So here's what happens. Every so often the pressure builds up, and some of this ancient iron-rich water finds a fissure and seeps out of the glacier. As soon as this iron-rich water hits the air for the first time in over 1 million years, the iron oxidizes. It basically rusts. This is the exact same process that happens when iron is left out in the rain. The rusting process turns the water a deep blood-red color, and that's what we see pouring out of the glacier. It's not blood, it's ancient rusty water. What's even more incredible is that scientists discovered that this trapped, dark, salty lake is not dead. It's home to a unique ecosystem of microbes that have survived for millions of years without sunlight or oxygen by metabolizing iron and sulfates in the water. It's a real-life example of how life could potentially exist in extreme, alien environments, like on Mars or the icy moons of Jupiter. Bloodfalls isn't just a creepy spectacle, it's a window into a lost world and a clue in the search for extraterrestrial life. For our number 4 spot, we're heading to Indonesia to see a volcano with a truly psychedelic secret. This is Kelimutu, a volcano on the island of Flores that has not 1, not 2, but 3 crater lakes at its summit, and each one can change color dramatically and unpredictably. One day, a lake might be turquoise, the next it could be green, red, or even black. The 3 lakes are right next to each other, but they almost always have different colors. The 3 lakes even have their own names and legends. The one on the western side is called Tiwu Atam Bupu, or the Lake of Old People, which is usually blue. The other 2 lakes are right next to each other, separated only by a thin crater wall. They are Tiwu Nuwa Muri Ku Phi, the Lake of Young Men and Maidens, which is typically green, and Tiwu Atapolo, the Enchanted or Bewitched Lake, which is often red or brown. Local folklore says the souls of the dead go to these lakes, and their mood determines the color. The color changes are not a myth. They are a well-documented phenomenon. You can look at photos taken just months or years apart and see completely different color palettes. One year, all 3 lakes might be shades of green and blue. A few years later, one might have turned to a dark, almost black color, while another has become a milky white. This unpredictability is what makes Kelimutu so fascinating. Scientists have been studying it for years to understand the exact trigger for these shifts. The scientific explanation is that the colors are the result of chemical reactions between the volcanic gases and the minerals in the water. The lakes are essentially giant vats of volcanic acid. As the volcanic activity below changes, it releases different amounts and types of gases like sulfur dioxide and hydrogen sulfide into the water. These gases react with minerals like iron and manganese, creating different colors. So, a change in the volcano's plumbing system can lead to a rapid and dramatic color change on the surface. It's like a giant natural chemistry experiment. So, while local legends talk about restless spirits, science points to a complex interplay of geology and chemistry. But even with the scientific explanation, the sight of these 3 multicolored jewels at the top of a volcano is nothing short of magical. You never know what color combination you're going to see when you visit, making every trip to Kelimutu a unique experience. It's a living, breathing geological wonder that paints its own landscape, and it's a perfect example of our planet's beautiful and mysterious nature. At number 3, we have one of the most unique human habitats on the planet. We're going to Loktak Lake in Manipur, India, which is famous for its fumdis. What are fumdis? They are floating islands. The entire lake is covered with these massive circular masses of vegetation, soil, and organic matter, all floating on the surface. They look like little green islands, but they are not anchored to the lake bed at all. They just drift around the lake, moved by the wind and currents. These aren't small, little lily pads either. Some of these fumdis are huge, big enough to support entire villages. Fishermen have built their homes, called fumsangs, on these floating islands. They live their entire lives on these moving pieces of land, fishing in the lake and cultivating small gardens. It's a completely unique way of life that has existed for centuries. Imagine waking up and finding your entire neighborhood has drifted to a different part of the lake overnight. It's a surreal, nomadic lifestyle dictated by nature. The largest single fumdi in the lake is an absolute giant. It covers 15 square miles and has been declared a national park, the Kabul Lamjau National Park. And get this, it is the only floating national park in the entire world. This floating park is the last natural habitat of the endangered Sangai deer, also known as the dancing deer, because of the way it balances on the springy, moving ground. The survival of this entire species depends on the health of this one-of-a-kind floating ecosystem. The formation of the pumdis is a natural process. They are made of decaying plant matter that gets compressed and tangled together over years. The islands are thickest at the top and get thinner below the water's surface, almost like an iceberg of vegetation. During the dry season, they sink and absorb nutrients from the lakebed, and in the monsoon season they float back up to the surface. This cycle is essential for their survival and the health of the lake, but it's now under threat from pollution and changes in the water level. Loktak Lake and its floating islands represent an incredible harmony between humans and nature. It's a place where people have adapted to live on a constantly shifting landscape. The sight of the circular pumdis scattered across the vast lake, with small huts and fishing boats navigating between them, is unforgettable. It's a floating world that seems to belong in a fantasy novel, but it's a real, living community, and a fragile wonder that needs to be protected. For our runner-up at number 2, we're heading to the American Southwest, to the Superstition Mountains in Arizona. These aren't just any mountains, they are the heart of one of America's most famous and deadliest legends, the story of the Lost Dutchman's gold mine. For over 150 years, treasure hunters have been searching these rugged, dangerous mountains for a mythical gold mine said to be worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and many have never returned. The legend begins in the 1800s with a German immigrant named Jacob Waltz, the Dutchman, which is actually a corruption of Deutsch. The story goes that Waltz discovered an incredibly rich gold mine in the Superstition Mountains, but took its location to his grave in 1891, supposedly giving a few cryptic clues on his deathbed. Since then, thousands of people have tried to retrace his steps and find the mine, armed with treasure maps, cryptic clues, and a whole lot of hope. But the mountains don't give up their secrets easily. The terrain is incredibly harsh, confusing, and dangerous. It's a labyrinth of canyons, cliffs, and thorny desert vegetation. Temperatures can soar in the summer and flash floods can rip through canyons without warning. On top of the natural dangers, the legend is filled with curses and dark tales. Apache legends say the mountains are sacred and guarded by spirits, the Thunder God, who will strike down anyone who tries to take their gold. The death toll associated with the search for the mine is chilling. Dozens, perhaps even hundreds of people have died or vanished in the Superstition Mountains. Some were victims of the harsh environment, but others met more mysterious ends. There are stories of prospectors found mysteriously dead, sometimes even decapitated, fueling rumors of a curse or modern-day guardians protecting the mine's location. The mountains have earned their name. They are a place of deep superstition and very real danger. To this day, people are still actively searching for the Lost Dutchman's mine. Every year, new adventurers arrive, convinced they've cracked the code, but no one has ever found it. Is the mine real? Was Jacob Waltz just telling a tall tale? Or is there really a cursed treasure hidden deep within the unforgiving wilderness of the Superstition Mountains? Whatever the truth, the legend has turned this mountain range into a place of mystery, obsession, and death. And now, for the #1 most mysterious, unbelievable place on Earth, we are going to the Karakum Desert in Turkmenistan. Here you will find one of the most terrifying and mesmerizing sights on the planet, the Darvaza gas crater, better known by its nickname, the Gates of Hell. This is a giant hole in the ground, over 230 feet wide and 65 feet deep, that has been on fire continuously for more than 50 years. It is literally a fiery pit in the middle of the desert. The story of how this happened is just as crazy as the site itself. Back in 1971, when Turkmenistan was part of the Soviet Union, a team of Soviet geologists were drilling for natural gas. They hit a massive underground cavern of gas, and the ground beneath their entire drilling rig collapsed, creating the crater. The collapse released huge amounts of poisonous methane gas into the atmosphere, which was a huge problem. To prevent a potential environmental catastrophe from the poisonous gas spreading, the geologists decided on a solution that sounds completely insane. They decided to light it on fire. They figured the gas would burn off in a few weeks, and the problem would be solved. They threw a grenade in, and the crater ignited in a massive explosion. Those few weeks have now turned into more than half a century. The fire has not stopped burning since that day in 1971. No one knows for sure how much gas is down there or how much longer it will continue to burn. It could be another 50 years, or it could burn out tomorrow. At night, the glow from the crater can be seen from miles away. A blazing orange beacon in the vast, dark desert. The heat is so intense that you can only stand near the edge for a few minutes. It's a truly apocalyptic scene, a man-made mistake that has turned into a permanent, hellish monument. Despite its terrifying appearance and name, the Gates of Hell has become one of Turkmenistan's top tourist attractions. People travel from all over the world to camp in the desert and witness this incredible, fiery spectacle. In 2013, explorer George Karunas became the first person to ever descend to the bottom of the crater, where he collected soil samples and discovered bacteria that were surviving in the high-temperature, methane-rich environment. The Gates of Hell is a chilling reminder of the power we can unleash, and our inability to control it, a fiery wound on the face of the planet that just refuses to heal. And that's a wrap on 10 of the most mysterious and unbelievable places on Earth. From bleeding glaciers in Antarctica to a fiery pit that has been burning for 50 years, our planet is so much weirder and more amazing than we can even imagine. I want to know which one of these places blew your mind the most. For me, it has to be the Gates of Hell. The fact that they just lit it on fire and it's still going is absolutely insane. Let me know your favorite in the comments below. I read every single one. Thank you so much for watching and for coming on this insane adventure with me. If you had fun and learned something new, do me a huge favor and smash that like button until it turns blue. It really helps the channel out, more than you know. And if you have a friend who loves travel and mystery, share this video with them. Let's see if we can blow their mind too. Every like, share, and comment helps us make more epic videos just like this one for you guys. Most importantly, if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Hit that big red subscribe button and join the family. We have so many more crazy adventures and mysterious places to explore, and you are not going to want to miss a single one. Thank you again for all your support. It means the world to me. We'll see you in the next video.